Alright, what's going on guys? Welcome to game ID 9566673348, a big comeback with ravages and black holes everywhere. Tactical calls and strategy at its best, a normal skill pub game. Yes, this is another Dota 2 cast it, brought to you by LX4, and we see a TA being banned out here, but first by the Dire, unusual ban, especially for 6.82, not really seen it played or banned at all in fact, but never mind, we're going to see it banned out by the Dire side, who's been captained by Nikos, and the Radiant side will be banned by Stevo. However, I will be more than likely referring them to by their hero names that they use. Looking, I don't know their MMR. I assume this is just I guess when you mean standard pub, I mean this is a non-ranked game, but who plays non-ranked captains mode apart? Apparently these people. But yes, my name's Alex4. I have cast one game before this one, and I got some great feedback from that, so shout out to that guy. Made a couple of improvements, especially to the sound, so perhaps if I don't knock over my pen holder, it should be a lot better game. Silenced phone, that's always a good thing. And looks like we're going to be in for a good game apparently, if black holes are everywhere and Ravage is always fun, which means we should at some point see an Enigma and a Tidehunter, but not a Faceless Void, as he does get banned out. It's sad actually. I really like Faceless Void, and I don't think he's been nerfed all that badly. So I just moved my microphone there. All that badly in 6.82, but all of a sudden he's just become one of the oh, shut up, Scarith Mage. He's gone from becoming one of the most loved heroes in 6.81 to being just cast to the sidelines completely in 6.82, and it's quite a sad day. But we do see a more traditional 6.82 ban, I would say, in the Scarith Mage coming out from the Dire, which means no Mystic Flare, no Instant Silence, Seal of a V-Liver, whatever you want to call it. No concussive shot, no one of those annoying abilities, and the range of stuff that one of my favorite heroes, should I say, sorry, is able to provide. And that's a sad thing. Silencer, he's a good hero, but banning him out almost gives away your strategy, which is going to be a lot of spell-based heroes, which are still countable by the Dire, but it's up to them to see, I guess, whether they're going to be able to figure that out. That being said, Silencer is a very good carry before, and I have seen him out carry on a couple of occasions Faceless Void, but whether that would ever happen in a sort of competitive game, I highly doubt it. But you got a lot of kills on him, you steal lots of intelligence, and you become an absolute destroyer of worlds. And finally, we will go into the first pick of the draft from the Dire side. First pick, first ban. Last pick as well. I still think the Captain's Mode, even though the changes that they made in 6.82 from 6.81, I still think first pick, first ban has a slight advantage. Only slight now, especially with the switching around of the second picking phase, but it's sorry, it's still got a bit of a cold. It's still a slight advantage, I do think. But again, the only problem is we won't be able to see the full effect of that until like another proper land like ESL1 has just been, but we will, I guess it'll become clearer as 6.82 goes along, but in my opinion Captain's Mode should be completely changed altogether. But never mind, we do see a first pick Ancient Apparition. I don't really know what to make of that, and to counter it, another completely off the wall pick in the Tidehunter. As you do, makes perfect sense, I suppose. But yeah, two picks that well, they don't counter each other, they don't really affect each other. Ancient Apparition, once you get that level 6, you sort of stand as far away from the rest of your teammates as you can, and you just throw Ice Blast for days, and helping them out in the team fight. Or you can play it slightly differently and just run around cold feeding everyone, using cold feet combo. You don't really see it very much often now. People tend to go for the chilling touch Ice Vortex build, but I do love cold feet, especially if you get enough money for Yule Scepter. Yule's into cold feet Yule, and it's an instant. It's a guaranteed stun every single time. But whether that build will be gone for or not is another matter altogether. Tidehunter himself is scary enough with Ravage, but he's a hero that's also fallen out of favour a little bit in 6.82. We do see him. He's very team fighty, but not very good at pushing, and doesn't really add much. Just sort of stands there like a big ass watermelon, and only has one ability that really contributes to an entire massive team fight. So obviously he's very much a focus for the rest of the other team's heroes, and a Doom. Again, talk about heroes that aren't being picked up at the moment. Doom is definitely a hero that's been just sought after, sort of left alone in 6.82, despite being still a really strong hero. I mean, it is now also somewhat required for his agonyms to be picked up with the changes to Doom, but my apologies. I don't know. I guess still a strong hero. Level death is just amazing, and well, Enigma. This is going to be a fun game, I can tell it already. Doom, Tidehunter, AA, Enigma. These captains have been having their Weetabix this morning, that's for sure. We do see a Razor ban come out now, and sensible ban, 6.82 sensible ban, and the Nature's Prophet also being banned out, another sensible ban. But sort of, you'd expect these bans to probably be the other way around. You expect Razor to be first pick, first banned material, not a TA. And Nature's Prophet, I guess, sort of fit into the second banning stage. Unless you're going up against someone like Admiral Bulldog, you're not going to ban Nature's Prophet first time round. A Meepo ban. I question myself as to how well these teams actually know each other now. Because if you're banning a Meepo, you must know the other team has a good Meepo player on their side. Otherwise you just wouldn't ban it. But hey, and a Witch Doctor ban is a sensible ban. But I would expect if you're going to pick up Enigma, you'd perhaps want to get Witch Doctor. The ultimate with Black Death Ward with Black Hole is insanely good. And now we have Shadow Fiend and Conquer. This is going to be fun because I don't really know Shadow Fiend's abilities all that well. I know his ultimate just basically makes him like a sort of crazy flying around dude. And I know okay. He only really has two. Never mind. I know his abilities. Ogre Magi, Ogre McGee, Mr. RNGesus. I hate this guy. I really do. He's the most annoying man ever. And we're completely ignoring the dire picks. Kunkka and Slaughter, two strong heroes, but two heroes that haven't been ignored in 6.81 and 2 in parts. Kunkka was picked a bit in 6.81, but 6.82, both Conquest and Slaughter have been completely ignored. We do see teams like Team Secret though pick up Enigma. Enigma.
5 seconds remaining.
But yeah, Conquest, Slaughter.
Reserve time.
I like Slaughter. He's a solid hero, but don't see him picked up. Don't know why though, because his ultimate is really the true sight amplified damage is really good.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Huh. I'm not too sure what to make of this. I guess you got Boat into Black Hole or Black Hole into Boat. You have Ancient Apparition, which works really well with Enigma's ult. You got Slaughter, who can be slapping away the entire time that's going on. And on the side of the Radiant, you have RNGesus into anything.
10 seconds
Doom is a strong ability in its own. You got Ravage. You've got Ravage into Requiem of Souls, which works. Warlock ban. I assume they're thinking that's and then an off-lane Tidehunter, but it's not. It's a support Tidehunter and Slark. Is going to probably be your. In fact, they've got two possible off-laners. I'd assume Doom goes the safe lane carry and Slark goes in the off-lane. Shadow Fiend going into the mid. And for the side of the Dire, you got Kunkka obviously going mid. Enigma, I assume in the jungle. Ancient Apparition in some lane or another. Slaughter probably be your safe lane carry. Although I suppose he can go in the off lane with Sprint.
5 seconds remaining.
I guess we'll have to see. For the last pick, we have got 45 seconds. Did they miss out on a ban? I guess the Radiant did. Probably me mumbling along about something about one of the heroes. But Slark does now have a little more, like, not a lot of synergy. None of these heroes seem to have synergy together, apart from, I suppose, Doom into Requiem of Souls. And you got a lot of stuns, though. I mean, if Doom picks up a Centaur, then you got a lot of stuns. And holding down. But not a lot of... It's hard, it's not a lot of synergy, is what I'd say. And Bristleback. I assume will be the safe lane carry with Ancient Apparition. So... how is this going to be laned? Well, I shall take off directed camera, that'll probably be a good start. We'll find out in a second. I think people are picking up at the moment. Let's have a look. Nope, they're always pretty content to sort of just sit around and do their own thing. We've got the Slark already moving out, going to the off lane. Predicted. Doom, where are you going, buddy? Yeah, Stout Shield and Tangos. Never mind, let's go to the top. Obviously, Kunkka going into the mid lane. And then we have Enigma going into the jungle. Is he just going to go straight into the jungle? Okay. I don't like this. I don't like it when you see people in pubs go straight to the tier 1. Like, you can do something, you can pick up a ward and you can go ward over here. Or you can just stop creep blocking, which will definitely help you in the offlane, even though you are Slark with Pounce. Doom going into... Okay, so Doom's going to safe lane carry with Tidehunter to support him. Ogre McGee's going to do the old warding hullabaloo. You've got Shadow Fiend who's also taken a ward from McGee. Okay, but isn't blocking himself. Meanwhile, you've got the Kunkka setting up to do a great block, and if he gets that off, then Shadow Fiend's going to have some fun. I suppose he can just always raise. But he goes for the first point in Necromastery, so that's going to delay his farm a little bit. Got Enigma, did he spot that out? I have no idea. But it's a bit of a contest for the minute 0 rune. And it will go the way of the Shadow Fiend. Nice regeneration to regen all that 3 health he lost. And the bonus rune, so the bounty rune goes into the hands of the Ogre McGee. You got the Doom walking around. I assume he's waiting till 30 seconds to pick up a creep. Yep, he's picked up the Ra level 1. He will be waiting for a creep. And we do get a block going on, but again, it's only the tier 1 tower, and Slardar's got a lot better block on, so Slark and McGee dueling it up. dueling it up. We'll be having a fun time against the Slardar and the Ancient Apparition, who I'm guessing will just be harassing 24/7. We've got now a solo Tidehunter. I was waiting for good old Doom to get back.
Bottom is missing.
Looking for a creep to devour, but he will not find any of the ones he wants. He could have taken a Wild Wing, I suppose. A nice damage, but I suppose he will take the Swiftness Aura with the Hellbear Smasher. Yep, he does indeed. But this is actually not too bad. This gives a little bit of time for the Tidehunter to get some farm going, and that will get him a quick level 2 already. And oh my god, I missed first blood on the mid lane. I do apologize. I was just about to rotate around there. That is Kunkka with obviously the combination of Torrent and Tide bringing the passive on that. Yeah, wow, I missed that completely. That was terrible of me. Well, Kunkka with the easy level 1 kill, and that's going to give him some really early farm, and Shadow Fiend going down there is not what you want to see, especially against a Kunkka who can just walk around and own. Bristleback taking a lot of damage from this Tidehunter. Guess get Anchor Smash and Gush doing the business, but this tanky motherfucker will just heal back up.
Middle.
And he's called out missing middle, but he's only sitting up on the high ground. He's just waiting, buddy. He's just waiting. We do have the Enigma, of course, moving into the jungle, doing his own thing, looking for that quick blink dagger, possibly mechanism actually. I suppose we've got the Bristleback, he's got a slightly better Mac carrier, but this Kunkka's really looking for the damage to go on with spraying out Tidebringer, constantly going on for this Shadow Fiend. He will find him at some point, I suppose. But meanwhile, we basically got this Slardar free farming. 11-0 against 4-0. This is dominating from a melee. I guess you got 2 melees against a melee in a range, so it's obviously going to favour him. The Doom is actually just full on jungling. I expected him to move into the bottom lane, but no, he's going to give that entirely to the Tidehunter, who is 7-0 against a 4-1, so he is winning that lane gently, and he did force him out earlier. So that will give him some early farm, and forcing Bristleback to last hit underneath the tower is not the easiest, not the most fun thing for Bristleback to do. We do see Enigma pick up the 2-minute rune, 1 minute late, and the bottom rune was already picked up by someone. I assume Doom. Top lane, not a lot of action going on, just trading farm, and you got the two carries, mid lane and the carry of Dire, just trading hits essentially, trying to see who's best at got the most last hits on the board. The Doom is very low. Razor's coming through, putting the Kunkka down low, but he won't care. He'll just casually ignore that all and come back to the beginning. Bristleback, Tidehunter, not really doing a lot. It's very good. Since that first part, it's been a very passive game. We're quite happy, I think, to farm, get an idea of how they're playing. And Kunkka, Recipe, Bracer, Blades of Attack. I'm guessing he's got an interesting way to get his boots and Bracer, but never mind. Shadow Fiend will use Raze to get some needed last hits, but he still will be behind that Kunkka, who does now pick up his phase boots. And did he take up his Bracer as well? No, but it's on the courier on his way out to him. Shadow Fiend does have his bottle now. Does bottle a regeneration room, which will keep in the lane, especially if this Kunkka decides to be a little more harassing. Ogre McGee gets a nice start onto the Slardar, but nothing more than a little bit of harassment there. Shadow Fiend does now pop that regeneration rune, and Bristleback and Tidehunter. Now I think at this point, Bristleback level 5, both level 5 in fact. Now I think Bristleback, since he gets his tankiness, once he gets his level 6, he will be a lot more tankier. And even though Tidehunter is tanky enough, he will be able to outlast him. I was going to talk about top lane, but these guys, you got Slardar who's incredibly tanky. You got a Slark who can just pounce out at any moment. Then you got an Ogre McGee who is one of the most tanky supports, if not the tankiest support in the game. As you do, just trading out tangos. Does it in the cover of the trees here is to avoid any trouble. I keep seeing these two so close together, but already none committing to a kill. You could get a strengthening crush into a just probably kill off this slot quite easily. A cold feet into crush into just right click. I suppose you got the Ogre McGee gonna stun you up there, but I don't know, maybe possible. PP scroll coming in from the Doom. He has gone back to base, and Gloves of Haste, I assume that's going to be a Midas build coming out from him, as you would mostly expect. There's a Horn going outside, fantastic. Tidehunter picking up some more tangos. Okay, and mid lane, Kunkka going on to the Shadow Fiend again. We're looking for this next last kill. Shadow Fiend just gets away with the skin of his teeth, and the tower shots bringing Kunkka low, but not low enough. Enigma coming in to give his friend Kunkka a nice escape route, and Doom and Shadow Fiend aren't going to be able to do anything, but that salve does keep the Shadow Fiend in lane. Most importantly, and there's an Invis rune top, which I'm assuming he will go and get and make the most of. Enigma now moving into the jungle, finds Tidehunter. Oh, but he also finds Doom, pops the Ravage. That is a big commitment just for an Enigma, and it will get him the kill, but he will fall to the Eidolons. That is a waste, I would say. That's a win there for the Dire there. It was a wasted Ravage, to be honest. I mean, it did get the kill, but I thought they probably would have the kill anyway. And now Ravage is down for 123 seconds, and Enigma can just go back to farming. He lives in the jungle. That is his place. This is his home. And meanwhile, you just hello, random message from some person. You have a Bristleback bottom lane, just happy to keep on farming, and that's what Bristleback does best. He's a bit low on mana though, but he has Magic Wand. He has a lot on the courier. Well, a lot in his stash. Courier, please. Come, send it down to you, buddy. Leaves that little button right down there. But apparently not. Shadow Fiend, a little more confident now. Seeing he's able to wear off that Kunkka somewhat, but he will he will push in a little bit. Top lane. Still nothing happening. The Slardar though is top farmer across the board, and that's it's showing in his items. He already has his treads, Quietling Blade, Healing Salve, Magic Wand. He's gonna be hitting hard towards the late game, that is for sure. Bristleback now forced to go back to base. Leaves everything here, and we have an 8-minute Midas coming out for the Doom. This is exceptionally good for him. This is good farming. Illusion Rune bottom. Bounty Rune picked up by the Shadow Fiend. And now rotations coming in on top lane. Ogre McGee, Black Hole committed onto 2. Are they going to get the kills? They do need to look at them. Cold Feet provided. Slark does go down now. The Ogre McGee. That was a good use of the Black Hole there by the Enigma. Committed it, didn't know if it was going to be enough damage, but Slardar with that sprint and strengthening crush I assume was used, and the cold feet and chilling touch from the ancient apparition, which can't be understated how much damage that actually does early game, and in fact throughout the entire game. So much damage. Meanwhile, Doom looking for a little pick off onto the Kunkka, I think, while his Midas is on cooldown. Would be a nice kill, but Shadow Fiend just isn't in position to be able to do it. I think Shadow Fiend needs to move in a little bit more, try and force the bait out, and that's exactly what's going to happen. In comes the Enigma. I wasn't expecting this. Running back, but in comes the Doom now. Level Death is popped. The Shadow Fiend will fall regardless. Will they be able to get a return kill? Doom's onto the Kunkka. Don't know if he'll take down from that at all. Enigma coming in. Kunkka, will he take down? No, he won't. Doom's not even going to be bothered farming this up. He's just going to walk straight back, which is a waste. Somewhat. Kunkka, no, he survives. So Doom's wasted. The Shadow Fiend died anyway. Enigma rotated in, a bit of luck at the right time, but should have been anticipated. He was missing from the top lane after those couple of kills. I suppose you'd assume he goes back to farming, but now the Enigma just keep pressuring onto this Doom. Braces popped. He is going for the mech, but this Doom needs to be careful. But now in comes the Shadow Fiend. Raises. Is he going to get a second raise? He will not commit for the second raise, but this Enigma played very well by Pyronikos. Is basically giving his team an early advantage and severe momentum, which means his top tower is now taking a little bit of chip damage. Nothing in comparison. Nothing in real reality. And Bristleback bottom lane gets a free kill on the Tidehunter. Like I said, as I said earlier, this Bristleback, while losing early game to the Tidehunter, was forced out of the lane. The tankiness of the Bristleback just over time, he becomes crazy, and you just lose straight up. You got a point in Warpath, and he'll lose. you can't keep up with that tankiness. He is just insanely big. And now Doom moves into the bottom lane here to try and combat this, but Bristleback just sort of jumps away as he does, you know, doing his thing. Enigma now top lane, rotated in, waiting, searching. Black Hole still off cooldown, but enough 3 points in the Malefice. Slark now amplified damage. This is probably his cue to get the fuck out of there. But Enigma is farming. Okay, he's not looking for the kill. Okay, now he is. Nope, no he's not. Never mind. But we have now got rotations coming in across the board. This is a 4-man rotation coming up to the top lane. Kunkka going around the sneaky way. He does have Ghost Ship coming in, so the boat will be flying in. If he so wants. With 4 mana, he can basically do whatever the hell he wants. He needs to be careful. They can't see each other, but it won't be very long before they can. So zoom out a little bit. Here we go. Can no longer see. In comes the boat. Here we go. Boat coming in to start things off. Connects on both of them. Black Hole committed, but only finds the Ogre McGee. But he will fall regardless. And Slark coming in, trying to get a return kill, goes into the Shadow Dance. But they're just going to wait it out. Kunkka doesn't even die, but the rotation from the Tidehunter gets a kill into the Kunkka. The Ancient Apparition then flies out an Ice Blast. That's 3 down for the side. 3 down? Doom died. Why did Doom die? Doom died to the Bristleback. Finish fast, called out by the Ogre McGee already. We're 12 minutes in. Basically tapping out GG. Enigma. However, Shadow Fiend comes in, but the Slardar with the stun keeps them alive. Tidehunter will chase. Will he find it? Gushing through 2 seconds. Gush available. There's Enigma who's going to fall here. That's 272 gold going the way of the Doom. 473 expended as well. Nothing onto the Tidehunter. Well, nothing shown onto the Tidehunter though. Tidehunter does get something, but it's Doom picked off bottom lane. It's a lot of deaths across the board for this Radiant side. I don't know if they can really keep doing this against this lineup. Slardar is a great late game carry. And the amount of damage Kunkka can do over time. He is going the Shadow Blade build. God damn. Pubs or what? Slark missing the pounce. And the torrent by Kunkka just forcing them back a little bit. But now 2 carries in the top lane against the really underfarmed Slark. Oh, in comes the boat, but it's going to be off target. Yep. And this has a bit of waste. But anyway, Doom going out onto the Enigma. But no follow-up at all. So that's a wasted Doom again for another 80 seconds. 90 seconds even, my apologies. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Ogre McGee going against a Bristleback. I guess they figure he's the tankiest guy to do it. But this Bristleback, again, he's not been in any of these fights, but he's still getting free farm in the bottom lane. Although, not free farming very well, still out farmed by the Shadow Fiend and the Enigma and the Slark. But the invisibility rune pop, this could be a start for a kill. He's going for the Shadow Blade. So we'll be able to just walk around and invisibility rune is active. This Enigma has absolutely no idea, and this Enigma will probably die. But he has no backup, so he's got to do this solo, and he's got to do it quickly, otherwise Malefice will come out. And he's going to pop the ultimate. That's going straight onto the Enigma. Now the amount of damage is absolutely insane, and that is a easy kill for him. But that's 110 seconds, which that ultimate will not be available. And if there's another team fight, you really do need that to be up. However, that's put the Enigma in the grave for a good while. Just halting his farm a little bit, and well, the mech is already up, but delaying his next item, I would assume, is a Blink Dagger. And now the Bristleback deciding he can go on the Ogre McGee and decides against him all of a sudden. Meanwhile, top lane, turret, boat, in comes Ravage onto 3. But they do lose a Slug and the Doom regardless. And the Tidehunter now is in a lot of danger, he needs to be careful. In comes amplified damage from the Slug, Ice Blast, stun, and that will be your Tidehunter falling. Although the Ice Blast was off. Ice Blast was off. Oh, and even the Cleave wasn't able to do it. He will survive with 29 health. If that Ice Blast had been on target, that was a certified kill, but bit of misplay by the Ancient Apparition. I assume he figured he was being in range, but just escaped. That being said, they still lose 2. 4-0, and I completely missed out on the Bristleback dying. How the hell? And the Shadow Fiend, it wasn't an ultimate, I'm guessing it was just a series of raises that got him. But, yeah, that was not good. Meanwhile, on top lane, Shadow Fiend going to be going on, but Slardar's low and the Doom committed, but there is this time follow-up. Pounce in 9. Gonna get the bounty room, but that's not going to save him. He's going to escape, but he is going to in fact kick out from this Doom. So, it's actually a good use by the Doom. The Ice Blast does come and connect on the Shadow Fiend. That's not going to be enough to take him down though. It's only a level 1 Ice Blast. And Doom, be careful. You've got Enigma free farming, who is now saving up for the Blink Dagger. I would very much assume mid lane, 3 heroes pushing in. Tier 1 is already gone down, so there's not much they can able to do now. Ogre McGee going for the headdress, so he's going to move into the mech for the team of Radiant. This Bristleback has gone back after his little slap in the face and death. He is looking for some more farm, and he's going to find that by taking this tower bottom. Don't think he's going to get it in this quick wave, but oh, he needs to be careful. Shadow Fiend coming in. This is going to be repeated value. He does in fact get the tower, my apologies, didn't think he had enough damage. But Shadow Fiend, ultimate is available, and he is going to use it, but does literally no damage to the Bristleback. This is a tanky guy. Most importantly, it was because his back was turned to the Shadow Fiend at the time of at the time of the ultimate going off. He really needed to be further up here, about here, I would say, for him to be to make most effective of it. But his back was turned and damage was just completely negated. Smart plays by the Bristleback, even though he didn't even know he was doing it. Meanwhile, top lane, torrent onto 3, into the boat. It's going to connect onto at least 2. Gets a massive double kill. Complete whiff. Well, it's not a complete whiff. It was onto the Slardar, but a stun from the Ogre Magi does stop it. And it does mean the Ravage gets off, but really not to no avail. And 3 heroes die on the side of the Radiant. Amplified damage, they can see exactly where he is. No one else around the map's dying as far as I'm concerned this time. The Ice Path is going to be so well over where it needed to be just to make sure it connected, but there was no getting away from the Tidehunter this time. He will fall. Well, the Shadow Fiend is farming now. He's moving into a Mythful Hammer, so this could be a BKB. This could be a whole load of things, really. BKB, Desolator, Maelstrom. I would assume he goes for the BKB here, but I'm not too sure. Shadow Blade is popped, so he walks around everyone. But Kunkka also has a Shadow Blade, so you be careful. He does start raising though. He will just casually farm, but now they go into the attack. However, the multicast not coming out here. But now there is a stun onto the Ancient Apparition. That's an easy kill. Courier, hello. Courier, okay, do your thing. Doom going out to the Kunkka, but he's too tanky. He will just live through this. Enigma, any stuns? No stuns at all. He will get out in time. But a good pick off there by the Radiant, but not really one they were searching for, and Doom was wasted. Again, by the Doombringer. A big ult that needs to be kept, you know, for the team fights where you can sort of follow up. And stun from Slardar onto the Slarker. Was searching for perhaps a kill onto the Kunkka, but Bristleback now coming top lane, hits onto the Doom, the Goo. But no follow up from anyone. Just backs off. But they can see the Slark. They can see the Slark. I can't remember exactly how amplified damage works, whether they can actually see people around it or not, but around the Slark or not. But if they can, they've got the entirety of the Radiant's movements. An Ice Blast onto 4, that's a big Ice Blast. That is a lot of pain, and that Vlad is not going to do anything. Stun was whiffed by Slardar though onto the Ogre McD, but he is going to take a lot of damage from that. And the ultimate from the Shadow Fiend, possibly turning the fight not at all in fight. There's actually no damage to anyone. He has to retreat out with really low health. Kunkka, absolutely unstoppable. Level Death will be used. The Shadow Fiend does actually get popped at the end of this, and this is going to be a full team wipe. And Radiant just getting absolutely annihilated. They did lose the Kunkka through level death and a whole bunch of others, but I only see the death of the Doom. Great timing, show fight recap. But that is a massive, massive boost for the Dire, and look at that. Already not very big a lead as you think, but with full team wipe there, that's going. Now the graph is dipping. Over 5,000 now for the XP and gold. And sorry, the XP and net worth. And the middle tower will fall as well as a result of that when they push forward. They're going to push forward down the middle lane. The Courier. Courier. Okay. Someone fed the Courier. Someone is an idiot right now. But the Blink Dagger is there for the Enigma, but he won't get it now until he goes back to base. Tidehunter going in, clearing out the creep wave, as you do with Anchor Smash, and I don't think Gush was used, but Anchor Smash definitely. Yep, there we go again. But now all the heroes will just back up from the side of the Dire. Enigma still not going back for his... Where's Enigma? No, he's not going back for his Blink Dagger, so he's going to have to find some interesting way of getting it to him. Possibly Bristleback coming to bring it to him or something like that. But he doesn't look like he wants to stop his farming, so he's just going to get Convergence. Takes the... takes the siege creep and will just farm up top lane. Meanwhile, 5 heroes, all heroes from the Radiant side going for this tier 2. Seems like a bit of a desperation push almost from them. I mean, they do have 3 outer towers still there, so it's not quite, you know, if you lose the next team fight, you will lose the game. But now a full BKB for the Shadow Fiend, and this could be an absolutely massive fight turning item. If the BKB, he goes into the Requiem of Souls. Nothing can stop him from doing that. He's level 2 now, so he's going to do a lot more damage. And 24 souls are stored up, which isn't a huge amount, but it's enough to do a lot of damage. And the follow-up from the rest of the heroes needs to be there. These Dooms, though, need to be on point. And this Ravage as well, just to make it even more better. Heroes dancing in and out of the trees, trying to find each other. Shadow Blade is popped. This is going to be initiation from the Shadow Fiend. It is indeed. Oh, BKB's popped, in comes the torrent, in comes the boat, there's the Ravage, onto 3. Doom goes out onto the Kunkka again, but it's asking to really use all his abilities. Dust is there, they will find the Doom, Doom falls, Shadow Fiend in the trees will get popped, but the Bristleback may actually fall here. He doesn't, he goes the way of the Slark, however Slardar onto 2. Tidehunter, Slardar blinks away. Ooh, that was close. But as a 3-for-2 trade, slightly better in favour of the Dire. Slightly better in favour of the Radiant. But they lost, I mean, they did lose both their cores. And Ogre killed Slardar. Okay, that's definitely better in favour of the Radiant. That's a big task. That's 1,100 experience going the way of the Ogre McGee there. And that will secure his mech. Which is about time. The thing was, Enigma was not in that fight. Black Hole was up. And mech was used. But, if he was in that fight, I'm sure that would have been a good Black Hole coming off, and that would have gone a completely different way. I think the Dire there just being perhaps a little bit hasty to wanting to initiate onto the Radiant there. But Shadow Fiend. I suppose it actually was to the Shadow Fiend who did initiate. He did lose his life as well. Still very squishy. Only with 7 armor. With a bit of health, but he went Shadow Blade first, so he doesn't really have any stats to speak of. I suppose the BKB does have some stats, but not a lot. It's only 10 strength. It's not a lot of strength.
On this brigantine.
But a double damage rune now picked up by the Kunkka, and if that's a "I will kill you" rune, I don't know what is. But Slark, we're running into trouble. But they won this Tidehunter down bottom, and this Tidehunter is now very much dead. Don't even need to really pop anything. Perhaps a Malefice, but no. No, Kunkka could do it solo. There really didn't need to be the need for the Enigma there. But now the return coming in. 3 heroes in for the side of the Radiant. Pushing in, level death, procs the creeps to go mad. And they walk straight into each other. Uh-oh, Doom bit slow on the reaction. But the multicast coming out onto the Enigma, that will be his death. The turret though, this Kunkka's just doing a lot of work. Double kill from him, and the AA gets a kill on the Slark. But that cleave, it did a lot of work there. Meanwhile, Tidehunter picks off the Slidehunter, picks off the Shadow Fiend on the back side. So that's a 5-man wipe for the side of the Radiant, and this will be their tier 2 going down. There may even be 2 tier 2s going down at this rate with the Kunkka pushing in bottom lane. But the Tidehunter will be back up now, so some form of defense possibly being there. I don't think they'll go high ground after this, just let the creep wave push and do a bit of chip damage. But they definitely will be losing this tier 2. So that's 2 tier 2s now falling for the side of the Radiant, and this XP lead is just dropping even further. I mean, it was reclaimed slightly by that fight earlier on, but now it's starting to dip back down again. And this Kunkka is getting insanely tanky. 2 Chrysalises. Is he building double crit straight away? Yeah. I only thought it built Daedalus. Yeah. It's interesting. But double crit now for the Kunkka. Ancient Apparition now does have his Yule Scepter, so as I was talking about in the draft, that's a Cold Feet Yule Scepter instant stun, and that is a one hero is taken out for a good 2 seconds. An Enigma, Blink Dagger, Soul Ring, Mechanism. There's a lot of items. There's a lot of items to this Enigma who had a really good time jungling. Does pop his mech to heal up the Kunkka. And Slardar, what does he have? Blink Dagger, Armlet, Gloves. Is that a Midas? I would hate to see so. Oh, it could be the start of a Maelstrom, actually. That's more like it. Yes, it is. A complete Maelstrom comes out from the courier. I'd assume he has respawned after taking an earlier bath. What else? We got Bristleback. He has got a full Crimson Guard. And now moves into a Sand, which I would assume will turn into a Heaven's Halberd. Or it could be a full Sanjin Yasha. I don't know. I don't think it'd be a Heaven's Halberd. Meanwhile, on the side of the Radiant, this Shadow Fiend still really doesn't have a lot. This BKB is now down to 8 seconds, and he doesn't have anything else to really go to his name. Ogre McGee only has Arcane Boots and Mechanism, and just walks straight into the Kunkka. Oh no, this is going to go wrong. He does get a lucky multicast, so the stun does mean the torrent is whiffed as a result, but he's used up but without the cold feet, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, he does get the final hit on him. But that's an easy pickings there for the side of the Dire, and just, they need a couple more of these and they can probably go high ground. Perfectly honest. And meanwhile, this tier 2 and the top lane is taking chip damage, so
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
they're now forced to focus up to the top lane. 2 heroes rotating up there, and meanwhile they move into the Roshan pit. And with the minus armor coming out from the Slardar, this will fall painfully easy. Slark does have a Vlad's, and moving into a Yasha, sorry, but the first Daedal is now complete for the for the Kunku and the Aegis of the Immortal, my apologies, does go on to the Bristleback, and that does mean he is basically now unkillable. I mean, you can't kill him once, but you won't be able to kill him twice. Oh, the Shadow Fiend. Oh wow, that is a massive misplay by the Slardar. Amplified damage is a creep. Poor guy, but I heard X marks the spot coming in from Tidehunter, and that is actually a falling. Oh! Onto 4. That is an absolutely amazing black hole. Doom now goes on to the Enigma. There's no point going on to the Enigma because he already used all of his abilities. But the Shadow Fiend does die. The Aegis is proc. There's a lot of things going on, but that's 4 falling for the side of the Radiant. Sorry, for the Dire. And Bristleback now full health, full mana, goes on to Slark, who's managed to pounce away. But 3 still fall for the side of the Radiant, but that was a good team fight for them. They did kill off the Kunka really early, so didn't really get to put much use of this Daedalus to use, and as a result, everyone died. Well, actually, it was only 3 for the side of the Dire now. Actually, thinking about it, because it was only the Aegis that was blocked by the amount of damage. But that was I think it was a good few stuns coming out from the Ogre McGee, and Ravage was on cooldown. I think it was used in that team fight. The Shadow Fiend died again. Doom was used onto the Enigma, but the Enigma survived. So again, another wasted Doom coming out from Doom. But well, Slark though gets a bit of money from it. Goes in, gets a casual Yasha, goes to the Ogre Club. So possibly a Black King Var coming out from, or it could be Sanjin Yasha. But I prefer him to rush the Skadi, to be honest. I think the Skadi will do a lot more work for them right now than this S and Y, but then comes a Kunka. Pots out the Slark, and this could be an easy pick-off, especially with the Slardar. He goes onto him. But he does Shadow Dance away, but they will still find the Ogre McGee. 3 cores of the Dire, and there's no way you're going to do anything to stop that. Tidehunter does teleport in. 3 heroes now down here against the 5 of the Dire. They will look to back away now, and probably for good reason. They will probably lose. But the Doombringer now farming up the top lane. Just looking to build up some more items. There's 2 Vlads on the side of the Radiant. That is a waste of money. Wow, a bit of miscommunication coming out from the complete randoms, I would assume these guys are. I don't know if they're in a party or not. But even still, miscommunication there. That was a massive waste. And they will go high ground now. And the fist pop. Ray's coming in from the Shadow Fiend, not really doing a lot of damage. Bristleback's like, okay. Torrent comes in on 2. It's just a casual Torrent. Big Ravage though, but no follow-up. Or at least it was delayed. Crimson Guard gets popped. In comes the boat. That's on to 3. Possibly even on to 4 there. And you do see the Doom just getting absolutely destroyed. Shadow Fiend dying as well as the Tidehunter. They all fall. They're going to be a full 5-man wipe. They do get 3 as a result, but that's a full 5-man wipe. And most importantly, the Bristleback and the Enigma stay alive, and they didn't even use Black Hole because there wasn't even mana for it. You do lose a Slardar though, that's to be said, and you do lose the Kunka. But Kunka's a bit of a glass cannon at the moment with his item build, and a single Black Hole going onto the Doom. He will fall really quickly with the Bristleback, and that is a dieback for the Doom. That is a huge loss. Absolutely huge loss. And now they will lose bottom max for nothing. And they could possibly go on mid lane. Still a lot of time, but they will decide to take the side up, the side buildings. As you do. And the creep wave isn't really with them for mid lane, so they're going to have to probably back out there. They will, the Enigma will TP out, and Bristleback will just farm up this wave and walk out himself. But it's now looking very dangerous on the side of the Radiant. I lost one lane of Rex, and this lane also has 2 towers still standing. They've got a long way to go if they're going to try and even up the tables on this lane. But Roshan will be back up in 3 minutes 45, so that's some hope for them, but not a lot really. Sanj and Yash are now complete for the Slark, and Ice Blast coming in will find absolutely okay. No, it finds the Slark, but not really enough to do anything. And even Death's Packs during it. That's a bit of a slap in the face for the poor Ancient Apparition. But it's a bit of a wasted ultimate, but then again it's on a stupidly low cooldown, so you can just spam it out whenever. And Kunkka now going to do Ancients. Go to get a casual Bracer. He's had that for a while, my apologies. Goes Demon Edge, so he's getting a second crit. This is an interesting build. I would have expected him to go at least some tankiness. But Ogre picks up an Illusion Rune. And he's got some items. He's heading towards that Aghanim Scepter with that point boost to pick up. Slark, just trying to farm up everything and everything. Kunkka don't think he saw the Slark there, but oh, he'd committed a lot to kill off an illusion. But they're short cooldown, so it's not the end of the world. This Slark though is an interesting streak. He does move really quickly, but there's 3 heroes here from the Dire who just probably want to find him out. And this Ogre, he's just using this illusion to scout it out. And I don't know if he knows it's an illusion or not. He must know now it's an illusion. He's doing absolutely no damage to him. And he does, in fact, the Ancient Apparition comes in and uses it. He's having some fun now. But the Ogre will back off himself. And he does form. Slardar, meanwhile, bottom lane, solos the Doom. That's impressive. And but it looks like it was a Blink initiation used along with Sprint and Crush and poor Doom. Meanwhile, they're looking for the Slug. They do get X marks the spot onto him, and this can be bad. But the Torrent gets whiffed. That's about poor timing for by the Kunkka, and that's timing you really did need if you're going to kill off this Slark, especially with Shadow Dance on cooldown. They do get the tower regardless, but it goes on the Ancient Apparition. Enigma was looking to probably Malefice there, but does get a blink out in time from the Tidehunter. And Ravage is back off cooldown, and he's already picked up an Oblivion Staff, so he's on his way to the Refresh Orb. And Shadow Fiend, Ice Path will connect on the 3. Kunkka does go into the Invis, and Shadow Fiend is looking for pickoffs here. But this Slug, early proc of the dance and Ravage from 3, but no follow up from this Ravage. It's almost a bit of a waste. Meanwhile, backside, the Black Hog gets cancelled early, but Radiant, as a result, clean up. And Bristleback going to do a lot of work on the backside, but not really with his team. And Doom now being used probably correctly. The Tidehunter does get brought down, but they do take down the Bristleback as a result. 4 heroes dead from the side of the Dire, and that is a massive swing into the Radiant. Even though it doesn't really show it, I'm sure the XP graph will. Look at that spike. That is huge. It was a 12,000 lead in terms of XP and a 14,000 lead in terms of net worth, but now that will most definitely be coming back the other way, as heroes will start to find items, and that is a Yasha for this Shadow Fiend complete there. Slark, what are you building into? You've gone Voidstone, build Strength. I don't think they make anything, but that looks like it's going to be a bad bash. That's a basher. So the Voidstone is just casual, I would assume. Yeah, casual Voidstone, okay. Slark doing his own thing since 2014. And Doom not really building into anything at the moment. I assume he's saving for Blink Dagger, which would work. And the second crit now coming online for Kunkka. So he's going to be critting, he's going to be critting 50% of the time. So That's scary. Really scary. But I don't think... It's still a glass cannon for me. Still an absolute... Where is he? We'll find him. Still a glass cannon. And one that needs to be careful. And not whiff his X-Torrents. 3 heroes now coming into the mid lane. Kunkka looking for Picos. Misses the Shadow Fiend, but only just. That could have been a nice easy kill. Slardar wandering around with a haste rune with constant sprint on, so he's running at maximum speed now. And Shadow Fiend walking in. Roshan's up. They must have seen the Invis rune being taken. They must have seen that. But they're just hanging around the Roche pit now. This looks like it's going to be a big Roche fight. Both teams must know it's up. The Radiant Ward's scouting out the entire Dire side, and Dire are thinking about it, but now they're going to initiate. The Sentry Ward is down, so they see the Shadow Fiend. The Ravage comes in, connects onto the... connects onto a fall. Ancient Apparition falls quickly. Then goes down the Enigma, and now they're going to focus the Bristleback. The tankiest guy in the game. That is a big torrent onto 4 though. In comes the boat. It will whiff and miss everyone. But they're still chasing down this Titan, this Bristleback, but they will instead go onto the turn onto the Slardar, and despite having all that armor, he does fall really quickly. Now the Kunkka just absolutely melts. That's what we're talking about being the glass cannon that he is. Just has no effective EHP. And the Bristleback now will fall, but the huge chrono onto 4 allows the Bristleback to escape, but Enigma might die here. And he did bite back. So there's a dieback for the Enigma now. And they will assume go back for the tier 4, but there's a lot of low heroes. Slark possibly dying, tanking tier 4 slightly. Slark walks straight into the tower and pays with his life. That was ill-advised of him. But I don't think they have the health to do Roshan. Even still, it was a great death. It was a great fight by the Radiant, and they do win, but they're gonna all have to go back to base, especially, well, at least those two. I think Titan's going as well, and now there's a Manta Star and a Desolator. When did he pick up the Desolator? Doom decided he could try Roshan, but realized he failed miserably. AA comes in with a blast, phase out. No one's trying Roshan because no one's that stupid. I think he's just probably gonna Vladimir's aura up, and then probably we'll go back and afterwards we need to be careful because the Dire are going to try and look to do it themselves. But that was a good fight from the Radiant. That is now... Whoa! Okay, 6.82 has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. That is a huge XP swing, and the gold is heading in that direction as well. Oh, wow. That's basically even on the gold front, and now a massive XP gain for the Radiant. And Doom, I thought he was building into Blink Dagger, but apparently he's going Aghanim Scepter. Just didn't want to buy anything for a while. Okay, Slark still wandering around with a casual Javelin and Voidstone. I assume that's going into a Basher. Shadow Fiend with his Desolator and Manta Style means he is going to be a lot more scary than he was last time, and has those red right clicks that always look fun. And Tidehunter is only 1,600, and he's about 1,000 gold off of his refresh orb now. Does have the Ring of Health. Oh no, I need one Oblivion Staff. I'm a complete idiot. He has his refresh. Why isn't it making a oh, sorry, he needs the Void. I'm an absolute imbecile. He needs the Void Stone, so he is basically at his refresh orb, give or take a couple hundred gold. Doom, 2,000 gold or so off his Aghanim Scepter. Slark now has a complete Basher, finally. Still doesn't know what to do with his Void Stone, apparently, though. What are we looking at? Ogre McGee, blah 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 blah, mech. He has his act, and that is absolutely massive. More RNG, just basically. Slark, Shadow Dance away. Out of that, Ravage comes in. Slark will look to turn this, but turns too quickly, too late even. It's doing any much damage. Ice Blast onto 3. Tidehunter, boat comes in. 2 full immediately. Doom does get off the Doom onto the Kunkka. Black Hole onto 3 from the Enigma. There's not much this Bristleback can do, and he will fall really quickly. And now the Enigma will fall as well. As an ultra kill for the Shadow Fiend. And that's a rampage. Oh wow. This Shadow Fiend is now getting absolutely massive. His Manta pop, BKB popped, he just went to town. Meanwhile, the Slug will just decide to kill everything, heal up, and go straight for the tier 2. And with no buyback, in fact, let's look at the buyback status. With no buybacks on the field, only one on the Shadow Fiend. Sorry. One on the Shadow Fiend, that is Rax. That is Rax completely. However, you do look at this and you do see that the bottom lane has pushed in a lot and taken the tier 4 down to just 83 hit points. But the Doom will now swap out for the Slark, and they and they will now go on to this tier 3, taking it down pretty quickly. He's back, not much he can do. He will not commit to the Rax, seeing the Slark does back in 2 seconds, but that is the range bar. It's pretty much gone. I don't think there's much that can be. Oh no! Oh, 450 out. They're pretty much gone. But they will defend their high ground. I think this Doom should have stayed there for a good couple of seconds at least. Try and just commit the range barracks to going down. That would have been a big swing in their way. But this bottom lane is still pushing in. This is something that the Radiant need to be careful about. And they really need to start taking these towers down the bottom lane. Otherwise, this lane will take their base quite simply. Although it is giving Shadow Fiend a good place to find some souls, which he will need for the next team fight. And Doom, that's his Aghanim Scepter, and that's a Daedalus for the that's a Daedalus for the Shadow Fiend. This guy is still killable, but goddamn dangerous. He's outputting a lot of damage. He's critting for 962. Oh wow. They're doing a lot to chase a Slark illusion. Jeez. 4 heroes on the side of the Dire. And this Slark is now going into a battle. Oh, it could be. Nope, it's a Battle Fury. Okay, so this Slark wants to cleave everyone. Makes sense. Totally. I mean, I'd do the same thing. Enigma. He's heading towards his Aghanim Scepter, but no real progression really, apart from a casual low club. Unless that is possibly a BKB. He does have BOTs late, which could be handy. Shadow Fiend. Oh, stun was whiffed, and now, whoa! Starter melted. And Tidehunter killed off Kunkka. Yeah, I do love the banter between Kunkka and Tidehunter, it's always fun. But Kunkka kills off Tidehunter. He does pop the Ravage for it though, so it's a solo Ravage, but he has a Refresher up, so if needs be, he'll back up again. This Tidehunter, this Shadow Fiend pretty much thinks he's invincible right now, and there's no detection for the side of the Dire. None. So this Tidehunter, Shadow Fiend just walk in, prance around, walk out, and that's a Crimson Guard now complete for the Doom. It's an interesting item choice, but this just makes his team all the more deadly. I mean, there is one on the Bristleback, so it's gonna be Crimson Guard versus Crimson Guard. There's a lot of red bubbles going around, and he does have a full Heaven's Halberd, which will be good, especially against the Shadow Fiend. But actually, he has a Manta Style, so he just pops that, and he just doesn't even need to bother. So more likely, I'll probably go onto the Tidehunter or the Doom. These big right-clicking heroes, or even the Slark. In fact, probably be better on the Slark, but he still does have a couple of abilities that he can use. Ancient Apparition, you're well out of luck there, buddy. You'll be melted. No, they will take mid-racks. Slark, he knows what to do. He's taking the tier 2 down bottom, doing exactly as I told him to. And with the Desolator, those buildings are just melting. And now Dire have a really big problem, and that is the full Battle Fury coming out from the Slark. An interesting timing. 46 minutes in. But meanwhile, Shadow Fiend comes in with a Enigma comes in with a massive black hole, and that is the Shadow Fiend dead. Meanwhile, the Doom does get popped onto him, but the Doom is just tanking up against all of these, and that's a full team wipe. They do lose the Shadow Fiend, do lose the Tidehunter, but this Doom is too big. He didn't even pop the Crimson Guard, but killed off everyone. That's just too much armor on this guy. That's 7 thirds, 27, 20. That's a lot of armor. That's what that is. It's a lot of armor. I can't do math on the fly. It's a lot of armor forming out there, and the Slardar bought that, but there's not much he can really do. If he goes into this, he'll be melted. He's going onto the Doom. He's going to try and take him off, but the Blade Mail's popped. He does get the kill. In fact, Slardar gets a double. My apologies. Slardar does get a double kill. Doesn't even pop amplified damage to do it. And that's a lot of help with the Ancient Apparition ult there. Level 3 now. And that will give him a bit of gold. He's nearly at his Aghanim Scepter, only 500 gold away from him. But that's a tier 4's gone of the Dire. And now the creeps are going to start attacking the throne. And so now I think for the Dire, it's mid or nothing. When these 3 heroes get back up, they need to go down mid lane if they're going to try and take anything. They need to go mid lane, they need to take these, and then they need to take that. And most importantly, the throne. But the bottom lane is pushed out. The two towers that were standing in the bottom lane are now gone. But it's still super creeps against creeps, and super creeps win, especially when you got a load of the ranged ones, and an ice blast just for an illusion of Ogre McGee. These guys have got some commitment. Meanwhile, Ancient Apparition has decided to drag the creeps on a wild goose chase. How they will fall back, and again, a lot being committed for illusions who do nothing. Oh well. Oh, sorry, I heard Roshan. Doom is now going to go solo Roshan. And that's now a thing. But it's like they know. Well, now they know. They see Roshan. They now see Doom. Can they get the pick off? Kunkka thinks he can. And yep, X marks the spot. Torrent, is he going to get it right? He gets it right this time. And this looks like it's going to be a pick off onto the Doom. Slardar comes in, right clicks down. Those crits are absolutely insane. And he dies. Double dust popped. Okay. But that is now the Doom down for 100 seconds without buyback. This has got to be the time for the Dire to push mid lane. This has to be their calling. They have to go mid lane and they have to go now. And they need to at least take racks off of this, or force a team fight, or something. They need to get something from this. Doom being down. When he gets back, that's Doom. Level 3, Aghanim Scepter. Someone is dying with that, especially the Crimson Guard as well. And, nope, they're just going to go bottom. They're just going to go bottom lane. Well, interesting decision by the Bristleback. But that's a massive Ravage coming in. Refresher. Double Ravage. But there's no follow-up again. Slark's coming in now. He has got Battle Fury, so there's going to be some creep available. But he gets spun up by the black hole from the enemy. Ignore what I'm saying. That's a kill onto 3. And that's 4 dead for the side of the Radiant. Meanwhile, the Shadow Fiend goes to top lane and takes the throne. Oh, that's how you do it. He just ignores everyone and backdoors the entire thing. I had no idea where the Shadow Fiend was until just then. I wondered, but he was the only one alive. I checked his mini-map and he's gone top lane. And wow. So, quite an interesting game. Radiant on their heels, but then the Dire just gave away good kills. And the Shadow Fiend got farmed. And you don't give a Shadow Fiend farm, that's all I know. Kunkka, though, I think was the main problem. He goes for this double Daedalus build, which just doesn't work. It means you have no effective HP, and you just get melted by absolutely everyone. And Slark, again, I would have gone for a Skadi over a Battle Fury, but yeah, that was that game. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I wasn't at my peak that game. I don't feel like it was a particularly good casting game, but anyway, feedback would be appreciated. My name's been Alex4. Thank you very much for watching.